What's up guys? In this episode I'm going to show you how to take your 3D printed hardtop and reinforce it with some fiberglass. Alright, so after a quick sand with 80 grit, you can already see spots where they're a little lower, anywhere where it hit with the DuraBlock and kind of left a valley. You'll need to run over that with body filler. I could already tell this was a high spot here, so we'll need to fill in a little bit in between. So you just kind of find your highs and low spots, and wherever it's low, you want to fill in and do some more sanding and just make sure it's all flat. If you sand push down too hard, some of your pieces might become detached if you didn't get a good solder on both sides, but that's all right. You can come back and resolder those a lot better and then Bondo over the crack. Once you get the hardtop 3D print all smoothed out, you can start laying up the fiberglass. I used 1.5 ounce chopped strand mat with the polyester resin. Make sure you fully wet out the fiberglass with the resin and cover the entire top outer surface. I used a cheap paintbrush and a roller tool to get the fiberglass down against the top. Then you can trim up the cured fiberglass with a Dremel, but make sure you wear a mask. You really don't want this stuff get inside your lungs. Okay, so after you lay your fiberglass on the hardtop, you will have some air pockets and some edges that are pretty rough, and just the general top itself might be a little rough. So we're going to sand all these down, and it may expose some of that 3D print back again, but that's okay. I'll show you what to do after that. All right, so here it is after everything's cured. Everything's nice and strong. You can see that there's some air pockets in some of these areas where it had trouble conforming to the shape. So we'll get some of those cut out and then we'll keep moving on. Okay, so once you have all the edges all trimmed up and the air pockets cut out, we're gonna go through and take a lighter fiberglass and fill in all these sharp corners that the heavier fiberglass had a harder time conforming to. Okay, so now I'm just taking my hardtop mounts here and and clamping them to the sides just to kind of get everything in position before I mark for the holes of those mounts. And we're gonna check for the window fitment. If all looks good, make sure you have enough room in there for the rubber gasket. And if both sides check out, then you're good to go ahead and drill the holes for the side mounts. Okay, so now that that main hardtop piece is bolted in on the side mounts, we can position the trunk piece into the right spot and start bonding that to the trunk. You'll notice on this trunk piece, it kind of flares up on the sides. You kind of want to push that down whenever you bond this to the trunk so that it takes the right shape on both sides of this. So what I like to do is when I'm filling in my body filler around here, I will just put a little weight on here so that when this body filler dries, it'll stay like that. Okay, I've got the trunk all smoothed out. You kind of want to add some body filler to this corner to kind of round it off, because you'll see here in a little bit when we try to release the fiberglass off of this, it's going to remove a lot easier with the rounded off corner right there. So we'll put it back on the car, make sure it still fits correctly, and then we'll go to adding our release agent to this and start making our fiberglass trunk. Okay, so next we're gonna apply some Hardtop paste, wax, and PVA, and both of those are a release agent, and that's just gonna allow the fiberglass to come off of the part so that we don't have this stuck to the actual fiberglass trunk that we're making. So I wanted to show you how I laid this up. Basically, I did two pieces of fiberglass, one here and then one for this section, and kind of had them overlap on this edge. So it kind of folded up a little there and then a little this way, because the fiberglass has trouble conforming around that edge because it's such a sharp angle. So when I'm trimming this up, what you'll find is that you'll have a little crack running along this edge, which is actually okay. So when we remove this off the part, it'll come in two pieces, here and here, and then we'll mend those together on the underside with another piece of fiberglass. So I just trimmed all the edges up with the Dremel and then took the sander to the edges until basically it reached the original part, and that's how you make sure you get all your lines real clean and sharp. So now we're going to demold this. Okay, so I've taped up all my holes with packing tape so that resin doesn't get down in there and mess things up. And we're just gonna do the same thing as we did for the top part of the trunk with the wax and the PVA. And then we're gonna lay the fiberglass on here and then release it off and attach it to the trunk. So here is the final trunk piece. So we gotta do a lot of body work, but that's the basic shape with the under paneling. And I'll probably add some strips here just to kind of reinforce this. And of course the latch will bolt right here, and we'll use some rib nuts. But basically it will slide underneath the hardtop. I'll probably need to trim this piece back here so it slides a little easier. But basically it just slides in here like so. And I need to add a little bit of body filler around this gap here to get it real flush. We'll go ahead and add some paint and then it'll be done. So that's all I got for this episode. And the next one we'll get the paint on there and get those windows mounted.